of the first canto. First canto, third chapter, 10th verse. Purport by His Divine Grace. The sum total of the creative elements is 24 in all. Each and every one of them is explicitly explained in the system of Sankhya philosophy. Sankhya philosophy is generally called metaphysics by the European scholars. The etymological meaning of Sankhya is that which explains very lucidly by analysis of the material elements. This was done for the first time by Lord Kapila, who is said herein to be the fifth in the line of incarnations. End of the purport. Om Ajnantimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So in the 10th verse, Sut Goswami is giving information about Lord Kapil Dev. And Lord Kapil Dev is considered to be the fifth incarnation, comes at number 5. Or in this description of Bhagavatam, he comes at number 5. He is the foremost among the perfected beings, also mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. We'll take that reference. So today I thought we'd talk about a little bit about Sankhya and about Lord Kapil Dev from different references. What Srila Prabhupada has said about Lord Kapila and about his Sankhya philosophy. We may not be able to take everything that Srila Prabhupada has explained, but some excerpts in the given limited time. So last time when I was here giving the class, it was the first verse of the same chapter. And the first verse was talking about 16 elements. And at that time, we said that sometimes it's 16, sometimes it's 11, sometimes it's 20, sometimes it's 23, sometimes it's 24, and sometimes it's 25. But they all refer to the same. We can't figure out the difference. It is not pointed out any differently. So here we're talking about 24 creative elements. So these 24 are, 5 of them are the Pancha Mahabhuta. In Sanskrit, they call them Pancha Mahabhuta. And in English, we call them 5 gross elements or 5 gross body. And they are known as earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Then there are 5 Jnanendri. In Sanskrit, they're called Panch Jnanendriya. And in English, we call them 5 knowledge acquiring senses: eyes, ear, nose, tongue, and the skin. Yeah, the touch goes in the tanmatra. Touch is what the skin wants. But the Jnanendri is the skin. Then in Sanskrit, there is panch tanmatra. Pancha tanmatra. In English, we call them 5 objects of the senses. Pancha tanmatra in Sanskrit, and in English, they're called 5 objects of the senses, meaning what do the senses want? The tongue wants taste. The nose wants smell. And the eyes want to see a beautiful form, wants a form. The skin wants a touch. And the ears want wonderful, transcendental sound. So that makes 15 of these elements. Then there are 5 karmendriya. In Sanskrit, they're called Panch Karmendriya. And in English, we call them 5 working senses. 5 working senses are arm, leg, anus, genital, and the belly, udar. In some references, it is also voice, but udar or the belly shows up more. So these are the 5 karmendriya. That makes 20. And then there is 3 more. In Sanskrit, they're called sukshma sharira. 3 components of the sukshma sharira. And in English, we call them subtle body. So the 5 elements were the gross body. These 3 elements are the subtle body. Sukshma sharira or sukshma bhuta. The panch mahabhuta, the gross elements in Sanskrit are panch mahabhuta, and in Sanskrit they call it sukshma bhuta, subtle body. And that is man, buddhi, and ahankar in Sanskrit, and in English we call it mind, intelligence, and false ego. That is 23. Now this is talking about 24. So the 24th element would be Prakriti, material nature, or also referred to as Mahat Tattva. So that is 24. Now, when we talk about 25, then we include the soul or the Chetna, the consciousness. Because if you have all these components and a whole body, but it's not conscious, it's not complete. So there is the 24th element, and of course, nothing is complete without Paramatma. So if you add the Paramatma, count the Paramatma within all this realm, then it becomes 25, although neither the soul nor the super soul, they cannot be called material elements. Nonetheless, they are elements that make the whole body. So, every time Srila Prabhupada mentions that there is Kapila in his books, in his purports, he always mentions this is the original Kapila. The original Kapila. In the Bhagavad Gita 239, Esha tehi bita sankhye buddhir yoge tvamam shranu buddhya yukto yaya partha karma bandha prahasyasi. Thus far, I have described this knowledge to you through analytical study. That analytical study again is Sankhya. Now, listen as I explain in terms of working without fruitive results, O son of Pratha. When you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from bondage of works. This is Bhagavad Gita 239, is the first time when Srila Prabhupada is introducing Sankhya in his books. As you know, we have the sequence. We look at the Bhagavad Gita references first and the Bhagavatam next and other books after. So in that sequence. Srila Prabhupada explains Sankhya. Sankhya means that in the purport of 239. Sankhya means that which describes things in detail. And Sankhya refers to that philosophy which describes the real nature of the soul. Then Srila Prabhupada explains further in the same purport, refers back to the Srimad Bhagavatam. This Sankhya has nothing to do with Sankhya philosophy by atheist Kapila. There is an atheist Kapila. Oh, sorry. Okay. This Sankhya has nothing to do with the Sankhya philosophy of the atheist Kapila. Long before the impostor Kapila's Sankhya, the Sankhya philosophy was expounded in the Bhagavatam by the true Lord Kapila, the incarnation of Lord Krishna, who explained it to his mother Devahuti. It is clearly explained by him that Purusha or the Supreme Lord is active and that he creates by looking over Prakriti. This is accepted in the Vedas and in the Gita. The description in the Vedas indicates that Lord glanced over the Prakriti or nature and impregnated her with atomic individual souls. So here is the difference. So we're talking about two Kapilas. Both Kapilas are known for Sankhya only. It is not that one Kapila gave one philosophy and the other Kapila gave another philosophy. Both Kapilas are known for Sankhya philosophy only, and they both gave these components, the five Panch Mahabhutas, the five Tanmatras, the five knowledge acquiring senses and all. Same description. But so what is the difference? Yes. So what is the difference in the philosophy? The difference in the philosophy is, Srila Prabhupada is explaining right here in the purport of 239, that Lord Kapila's philosophy includes the glance of Lord Vishnu that impregnates the material nature, so everything comes into action. The inert becomes live by the glance of Lord Vishnu. That is the key component which is missing in the atheist Kapila. Now we did research. Is not all that difficult to do research these days, and we did not really find any other biographies of the different Kapila. The biographies, wherever that philosophy is mentioned, in my research I found, wherever that philosophy is mentioned, the atheist Kapila philosophy, this Kapila's name is mentioned. Not just the name, but this Kapila's biography is there. That the Kapila was the son of Devahuti, who was the wife of Kapil Muni, and so on and so forth. So maybe, I'm not making a claim, but maybe uh, it is the same Kapila, but missing the Supreme Lord component.
Just drop that part out. I've heard though about a teacher, a Sankhya philosopher, whose wife's name was Kapila, and therefore he was, although it was not his name, referred to as Kapila.
Oh, okay. I didn't come across that. So, in further research, we found that uh, nobody actually knows the other Kapila except Lord Buddha quoted that Kapila. Yes. So, whoever, if there was that atheist Kapila, was not really well known to anyone. But Lord Buddha picked up the knowledge from that Kapila and quoted him to establish his own Sunyavad. Sunyavad is everything came from the void and everything will go into the void. So we say, okay, even if everything came into the void, came from the void and everything will go into the void, then where will the soul go? Did the soul also come from the void? Will the soul also go into the void? Which is what the Buddhists don't have the answer for. So either, yeah.
And if you don't want to get too detailed about it, we have the souls that lie dormant between creation.
Dormant? Yeah.
Sort of like one.
Yeah.
For some purposes, it's the this.
Yeah. For a while. Yeah. So that can be accepted. But their whole Shunyavad philosophy ends at that nirvana. So either there was actually an atheist Kapila that Srila Prabhupada is talking about, because Srila Prabhupada is also not giving any other information other than saying that there's an atheist Kapila. There is no other information on that atheist Kapila. So either there was an atheist Kapila who actually gave the atheist Sankhya philosophy, or we just have our Lord Buddha who picked up the Sankhya philosophy from Lord Kapil Dev and removed himself. Of course, he is Vishnu. So he removed himself from it and presented it to misguide everybody. He just removed the glance of Vishnu, any involvement of the Supreme Lord, and said, here it is. Everything comes from material nature and it will go into material nature. But, yeah,
May I ask a question?
yeah,
While we're looking at the historical reality of some of these individuals,
yeah.
who is Asuri? Is that like it's not? It's like Asura, but
That is the other thing.
that's double A, right?
Yeah, that is the other thing that we could not find the reference to, that this Asuri Brahmana, there is no reference, because uh, Lord Kapil Dev gave this philosophy to Devahuti,
Who is Asuri?
who is the Asuri Brahman. We can't find any reference anywhere to who this Asuri Brahmana is, but we find tons of references that um, Lord Kapil Dev gave the philosophy to his mother Devahuti. Why she is being referred to as Asuri?
Somebody online says that it's in Mahabharata, this Asuri Brahmana situation.
Yeah, who is she?
Um,
That Lord Kapila actually gave the philosophy to.
yeah, it's this.
It is in the Bhagavatam, so it.
Maharshi, he performed sacrifice, he had a vision of the ultimate truth, and he taught them. Okay, this says there's a sun. Is there any sun that is this all talked about in Mahabharata? I don't know. So it's saying that Asuri had a wife named Kapila, the way, and therefore the husband then was known as Kapila. And then presumably it was the Sampradaya started there.
Yeah, but that's not this Kapila.
No,
Yeah, this Kapila, from our understanding, never got married.
but it's said that this this is where the information, this information was from the real Kapila.
From the second Kapila, the atheist Kapila.
The atheist Kapila seems to have, it says here that he traveled the entire earth. Oh, well, anyway, never mind. We should find somebody that really knows Mahabharata and see what it says about it.
So there may be another Kapila, the atheist Kapila, but Srila Prabhupada, there is one reference that this Lord Kapila was between 600 and 700 BC. Between 600 and 700 BC. That means about 3000 years ago. So that goes well with Lord Buddha, because he came about 2500 years ago. So after Kapila gave this atheist Sankhya, Lord Buddha came and picked it up and he propagated it. He made. But from all the references, so if we go to look who that Kapila was, that Kapila again is referred to as the son of Devahuti and Karda Muni. So that is confusing. So ev- every every how we look at that Kapila always goes back to Devahuti and Kardam Muni from our research. It is not perfect, but every reference that we could find, this there is no other no other life description or biography of this other Kapila.
Or of Asuri. Asuri.
Oh, whoever that Asuri is. Srila Prabhupada never mentions this Asuri. Nevertheless, here we're trying to understand the difference between the original Sankhya philosophy and the atheist or the man-made Sankhya philosophy. Because whoever this Kapila was is not an authority. That brings us to the spiritual authorities. In the Bhagavatam, there is a mention of 12 spiritual authorities that we discussed in another class. And Lord Kapil Dev is one of those 12 spiritual authorities. And Srila Prabhupada mentions that this Lord Kapil Dev was in the Satyuga. Now, where is Satyug and where is 600 to 700 BC? 600 to 700 BC is Kali Yuga. There is a whole 2 yugas in between. Lord Kapil Dev incarnated in Satyuga according to Srila Prabhupada. So further in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna claims, this is verse 1026, Ashwatha sarva vrakshanam devarshina cha narada gandharvanam charitra ratha siddhanam kapilo muni. Krishna claims that of all the trees, I am the banyan tree. Of all the sages among the demigods, I am Narada. Of all the Gandharvas, I am Chitraratha. And among all perfected beings, I am the sage Kapila. So, out of all the perfected beings, Kapila is known to be the supreme. That's why Krishna is mentioning that I am supreme, and he's giving all kinds of analogies of what is the best out of. So Siddhanam, he is the best among all the Siddhas. Amongst the, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, did I read the translation? Yeah. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, amongst the perfected living entities, Kapila, the son of Devahuti, is a representative of Krishna. He is considered an incarnation of Krishna, and his philosophy mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Later on, another Kapila became famous, but philosophy was atheistic. Thus, there is a gulf of difference between them. So, Srila Prabhupada is accepting that this Kapila refers to Lord Kapila, and every time he mentions this Kapila, he mentions the other Kapila. Srila Prabhupada. Whereas in research, we don't find any other Kapila. So there is a possibility that this Kapila's philosophy, because there is hardly any difference. Of course, the whole Supreme Personality is the difference, but one little glance is all the difference. Everything else is the same. But who knows, there may have been another Kapila by Lord's arrangement to make, um, to support Buddhist atheist philosophy. Kapila and Buddha are both atheist. Whereas we can say this Kapila and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Kapila and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are giving the same bhakti philosophy. The bhakti that's given by, in the Sankhya philosophy, by Lord Kapil Dev to Devahuti in chapters 25 to 33 is same as the bhakti philosophy. So it's like it can be referred to as a Kapila Gita, the Gita spoken by Lord Kapil Dev. So this is the next matter, that out of the all the Siddhas, Lord Kapila is the best. And next point is that Lord Kapila is also one of the 12 Mahajanas, the spiritual authorities. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada has referenced these 6 main philosophers. This is in the first canto, 17th chapter and 18th verse, purport. There are many theoretical philosophers in the world who put forward their own theories of cause and effect, especially about the cause of suffering and its effect on different living beings. Generally, there are 6 great philosophers. So the first philosopher is Kanada. Kanada is the author of Vaisheshika philosophy. Same, spelled the same way as Vaisheshika Prabhu. Vaisheshika philosophy is given by Kanada. And the second one is Gautam. Maharshi Gautam gave the philosophy. His philosophy is known as logic. Third is Patanjali, the author of mystic yoga. His philosophy is the mystic yoga, how you can connect with the Supreme through physical yoga system and following strict breathing process and living process and so on and so forth. Then number 4 is Lord Kapila, the author of Sankhya philosophy. Number 5 is Gemini, and his philosophy is called Karma Mimamsa philosophy. Karma Mimamsa. And the final one is Lord Vasudev, who is the author of Vedanta Darshana. So these are the 6 philosophers that Srila Prabhupada has mentioned, with all these, the 6 philosophies. 2 of them are direct bhakti. The others also are showing how to take the soul back to Krishna, but not directly through bhakti, through other process. So further, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 7th chapter, 3rd verse, Srila Prabhupada says, the instructions of Lord Kapila to his mother Devahuti are fully described in the 3rd canto, chapters 25 to 32 of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And anyone who follows the instruction can achieve the same liberation obtained by Devahuti. The Lord spoke Bhagavad Gita, and thereby Arjuna achieved self-realization. And even today, anyone who follows the path of Arjuna can also attain same benefit as Sri Arjuna. The scriptures are meant for this purpose. Foolish, unintelligent persons make their own interpretation by imagination and thus mislead their followers, causing them to remain in the dungeon of material existence. However, simply by following the instruction imparted by Lord Krishna or Lord Kapila, one can obtain the highest benefit even today. Um, that is the main point, that Lord Kapila gave this philosophy to his mother Devahuti in Satyoga, and Krishna gave about the same philosophy to Arjuna in the Dwapar, and here we are in Kali Yuga. And because of this form of Krishna, the Srimad Bhagavatam, we can take advantage of that knowledge and still make our life sublime. So, further, a little bit of history. Um, this is the same Kapil Dev, Kapil Muni, whose ashram is in Ganga Sagar. Ganga Sagar is where Ganga meets the ocean. And when Maharaj Sagara of Ayodhya, he is the ancestor of Lord Ram, was performing Ashmegh Yagya, Indra took the horse from the sacrifice and hid it in Lord Kapil Dev's ashram. And Lord Kapil Dev was busy with tapasya. And Sagara's 60,000 sons went and found the horse. When they found the horse, they started to say bad things about Lord Kapil Dev. And Lord Kapil Dev opened his eyes. And they got burnt from the fire within them, because it's clearly mentioned in the Bhagavatam. In the 8th chapter of the 9th canto, by Shukdev Goswami himself, that it is prominently believed that the fire came out of the eyes of Lord Kapil Dev. But Shukdev Goswami says no, Kapil Dev was in sattva. He did not burn them. Their own fire of their own karma, of their own wrongdoing, because everybody has fire inside them. That fire burnt them. And now they're all dead into ashes. Of course, nobody can bring them back. But because they are burnt and dead in this way, they want to make sure that somehow or the other they get favor in the Parloka, wherever they're going to go. So, for that reason, Lord Kapil Dev suggested that if the Ganga comes here, then these guys will be benefited, the 60,000. So, 60,000 were all the brothers and they're all dead. But their father, Sagar, also had another wife who had one son. His name was Asmanjas. And Asmanjas had a son called Anshuman. So Anshuman took this on as a project to bring the Ganga to for the benefit of the 60,000 uncles that he had lost. And finally, Bhagirath takes birth in the family of Anshuman, and Bhagirath was able to bring the Ganga all the way to Ganga Sagar, and that's where there is a ashram called the Kapil Muni ashram, and We have just opened a center there, ISKCON Center, ISKCON Gangasagar, close to the Kapil Muni ashram, where devotees can go and get prasadam, get guidance. They have some rooms. Other than this, there is a place called Kapil Vastu. Kapil Vastu is also believed to be a place uh, related to Lord Kapil Dev. And Lord Buddha, in the form of Siddhartha, was born in Kapil Vastu. Kapil Vastu is now in Nepal, close to India, border with Nepal. And Kapil Vastu is also known for the birthplace of Lord Kapil Dev, meaning some Kapil. So we don't know if that is Lord Kapil Dev, whose name this Kapil Vastu city is named after, or the other Kapil. Because that's all the way in Nepal, whereas the reference where Kardam Muni performed tapasya, and then Bhagavatam reference, uh, Kardam Muni performed tapasya, and Lord Vishnu was happy and appeared. All of this pastime happened in Gujarat. There was a place called Bindu Sarovar, which is mentioned in the Bhagavatam, and it's still there in Gujarat. And the Bhagavatam also mentions that although Kardam Muni had made this some kind of a flying object and where he was flying off and all that, but they came back to the same place as the Bindu Sarovar, and Lord Kapil Dev gave this information to Devahuti at Kapil Sarovar, at Bindu Sarovar, which is in Gujarat. So, Kapil Vastu being in this Kapil Vastu being the birthplace of this Lord Kapila doesn't make sense to be in Kapil Vastu, but what do we know? Things move. So that is about Kapil Vastu and Bindu Sarovar, although there is another Bindu Sarovar in Bhubaneswar. You been to Bhubaneswar? In Bhubaneswar, there is that main temple. It's like a Shiva and Vishnu temple together, and next to that, there's a big Sarovar, also called the Bindu Sarovar. And there are many pastimes that took place in that Bindu Sarovar. But, yes, they also claim that Kardam Muni performed tapasya here. So, who knows, maybe in the previous Yug Chakra, Kardam Muni performed tapasya over there, and in this Yug Chakra, he performed tapasya in Gujarat. We can't really say that one is wrong and one is right. We can try to connect the dots, but even that is not so easy, although there are distances. But these guys who built a whole flying city and flying around all over the place, that city, the flying city Kardam Muni had built, is said to be even more beautiful than the heavenly planets. So, where it can go and what it can do, there is no limit. But with our limited mind, we try to put these things together and glorify Lord Kapil Dev, his Sankhya philosophy, as presented in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and at the same time point out, as Srila Prabhupada has tried to do everywhere, is that this is not the atheist Kapila philosophy, this is the Bhakti philosophy. This Kapila Dev, Lord Kapil Dev, was in Satyuga, not in the 600 to 700 BC. And also for that reason, because that Kapil Dev was famous, doesn't seem to be anymore. But that Kapil Dev was famous. So that's why Srila Prabhupada made it a point to write a book called The Teachings of Lord Kapil Dev. Because he didn't want the generations to come to be confused by this other Kapila that Lord Buddha kind of promoted. He published his own book, Teachings of Lord Kapila, to give the pure teachings of Lord Kapila according to the Srimad Bhagavatam. Any questions or comments?
Now we don't know what's going on Zoom.
Oh, we don't know?
I better go back on Zoom. I mean, they know, but I don't know. Okay, let's see here.
They are hearing us?
I think they're hearing us. We're not seeing them. I could just go over there.
Yeah, they are over there.
They're over there. I could just go over there and
See if they have a question or
questions.
a comment.
I don't know how this all works. It's, better not go get some feedback or something.
Yeah. We can turn it off.